What if I told you that one of the most chaotic, most aggressive corners of the entire internet was secretly holding a guide to spiritual enlightenment? Yeah, it sounds pretty much impossible, right? But a post from the infamous forum 4chan seems to be exactly that. And believe me, the connection is way more fascinating than you can imagine.
So, it all starts right here with this post. This is from the NG, which stands for the Nobody General thread. And the language is, well, it's raw. It's confrontational. It kind of dares you to enter a place that, in its own words, you either love or you hate. It's talking about doe-eyed super trolls and challenging tough guys to take on a hardened animalistic mindset. You know, on the surface, it's just pure, unfiltered internet chaos.
But what if, buried deep inside all of that aggression, there was a coded manual for achieving, unshakable inner peace? How could this possibly lead to that? Well, that is the mystery we are about to unravel.
Okay, so to solve this thing, we've got to start right at the source. Let's actually deconstruct the strange language and the very specific rules of the Nobody General post itself.
Just look at the unique vocabulary they're using here. The author frames this whole thing not as just some forum, but as a training ground. It's a place to practice on a pillar of foundation that cannot be moved. And they give one crucial rule: do not respond to negative posts. Now keep that first phrase in mind. A pillar of foundation that cannot be moved. Seriously, it's the key to everything.
So we have this aggressive, really niche internet slang. But it turns out this language isn't unique to 4chan at all. And oh boy, this is where things get really, really interesting.
Remember our key phrase from that totally chaotic 4chan post? The goal, it says, is to build a pillar of foundation that cannot be moved. Something inside you that's so solid that trolls and negativity literally just bounce right off it.
And now look at this, the exact same phrase, word for word, from a guide to spiritual ascension. The aggressive internet post and the serene spiritual text are talking about the exact same concept. So, what is going on here?
All right, let's deconstruct this shared idea, starting with the core concept itself, becoming an unshakable pillar.
So in this philosophy, the pillar isn't a physical thing. It's an internal state of being. It's a foundation that you build inside yourself that is so strong, so stable, that all the chaos of the outside world, whether it's on 4chan or, in your daily life, it just can't touch you.
So how do you even build it? Well, the spiritual guide gives us two steps. First, immovability, which is all about anchoring yourself in the knowledge that you are divine essence. Second, presence. And listen to this. You practice it in chaotic environments, what the text actually calls an internet collective, by refusing to be swayed by negativity. Sound familiar?
This brings us to the second core concept, and it's right there in the name of the 4chan thread, the completely paradoxical power of being a nobody.
See, being nobody doesn't mean you're worthless. In this context, it's actually the ultimate goal. It's a state of spiritual freedom where you're no longer defined by the world's labels. Not your job, not your name, not your online persona. You get to transcend all of those divisions.
And this isn't some new idea from the internet. Not at all. The 13th century poet Rumi wrote about this very state. My place is placeless. My trace is traceless. I have chased out duality. He was describing this exact freedom from an earthly identity, connecting to something way deeper, what he called the soul of souls.
So the principles of being a nobody are all about recognizing your own limitless nature. And the practical advice is striking. If you're not respected, you just keep quiet and move along. You practice selective silence. I mean, this is the exact same instruction from the 4chan post, but reframed as a spiritual discipline, not some act of online aggression.
But how do these two ideas, the pillar and the nobody, really fit together? Well, it all comes down to a single, really powerful analogy: the diamond in the pillar.
Here it is. This is the guiding image for this entire philosophy. You're a diamond, and you are set into a stone pillar. Okay, so let's break down what each part of that really represents. So the pillar, that's your foundation. It's what keeps you grounded and steadfast. But the diamond, that's your heart. It's indestructible, and its job is to radiate light and compassion. And the critical part is its own hardness acts as a natural boundary. It doesn't have to fight negativity, its very nature just deflects it. This diamond heart is described as the seat of Buddha, a source of really deep wisdom. Its structure is your boundary, which allows you to give love freely, without any strings attached. The text even says that when one heart remembers its light, 1,000 others begin to awaken. so your own inner stability can actually help wake up other people.
So the final, practical advice is all about protecting that light. You visualize a crystalline barrier. You don't try to get revenge. You simply allow people to face the consequences of their own actions by moving away from your light. And you always try to interact with the world through grace and empathy.
And so we come full circle. The Nobody General, in its own bizarre, chaotic way, was never a call to become an aggressive troll. It was a training ground, a really rough-around-the-edges guide to becoming so internally stable, so grounded in your own pillar, that the world's noise just can't get to you.
So, it seems that wisdom really can be found in the most unlikely of places. And it leaves us with a pretty personal question. We all live in a world of constant noise, both online and off. So in the middle of all of that chaos, how will you build your pillar?